And Jibreel says that Khadija have a daughter, and from her sulb there will be imaman. There will be imams from her, and your lineage will continue from her. And whosoever, once again that hadith is repeated, which we'll repeat later on, accept their wilayah, they are from the muqarrabeen, they are from the near ones to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are fully aware of the way how her birth took place. That the great ladies from heaven came to help and assist Khadija, whether those who were around Khadija saw them or not, but Khadija saw them. Because Hazrat Khadija was on that level where she could hear Fatima in terms of her spirituality of that maqam. And Prophet could hear. Maybe there could be other people, but they could not hear because they are not on the same level. It is because of the maqam of marifat. It is because of the maqam of understanding, of knowledge, of spirituality, on what maqam they have. The head of Imam Hussein was reciting Quran. Hazrat Sukaina, she hears that. Ruqayya hears that. Hazrat Zainab hears that. Imam Zainul Abidin hears that. But there were other wives of the Shuhada as well, they didn't hear. There were many people in Kufa and Sham, they didn't hear. But some of them who were pious amongst them, they did hear as well. So it depends on their piety and their spirituality, on what level they are. So Hazrat Khadija was on that level that she could see the descent of the Malaika, she could see the descent of Asiya, and these great personality who came and assisted and helped her to deliver Fatima. Salat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Then after the wiladah, we find that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have introduced, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mentioned in relation to Hazrat. Because to know about someone, we need to investigate what people are saying about that personality, that person. So let's begin with Allah, what Allah is saying in relation to them. We find that the greatest riwayat that is quite surprising, astonishing, لَوْلَا لَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْأَفْلَاقَ. And I have the reference of this because last time I mentioned this riwayat in between Salatain, and they wanted a reference of it. So if they want a reference, I have the reference this time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if it wasn't for you, O Prophet, I wouldn't have created the heaven and earth. لَوْلَا عَلِي لَمَا خَلَقْتُ. And if it wasn't for you, O Ali, I wouldn't have created the Prophet. لَوْلَا فَاطِمَةَ لَمَا خَلَقْتُهُمَا. And if it wasn't for Fatima, I wouldn't have created the Prophet or Ali alayhi salam as well. Sallallahu Muhammad wa Muhammad. Now this doesn't mean that Hazrat is of greater value, or that she is greater than the Prophet or Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is in relation to how one interprets this hadith. See, the baqa of Zameen wa Asman, the heaven and earth, is because of the Prophet. The baqa of Prophet is because of Amir al-Mu'mineen. The baqa of heaven and earth and the Prophet and Amir al-Mu'mineen is because of Fatima. So if it wasn't for Fatima, outwardly speaking, if you look at it, where lies the question of the remaining of the deen which was sent? Sallallahu Muhammad wa Muhammad. Now how about the Prophet? What did the Prophet and how he behaved? It was never seen that Hazrat came to the Prophet and he never stood up in respect of his daughter. Whenever Hazrat Fatima came to the Prophet, he would stand up. And if you look at it, amongst the companions, writers, scholars, that they used to dictate and write the sunnah of the Prophet. But it never became the sunnah of the Prophet that if the daughter comes, fathers should stand. But it was because of Fatimah, the Prophet, the last, the most best of the Prophet, the best of mankind, he would stand up in respect of Fatimah. It wasn't really the sunnah as such. It would have become sunnah if that was the case. Prophet used to do this, so we should do that. Prophet used to pray 2 rak'ah. Before Fajr we have to pray. Prophet used to do miswak, we should do it. Prophet used to wear white, we should wear white. It's all sunnah. Prophet used to get up for the daughter, so fathers, get up for your daughter. No. It was Fatimah. Because of Fatimah, Prophet used to stand up. In respect of Fatimah. It was never seen that the Prophet would ever leave Medina without visiting Fatimah. It was never seen that Prophet would ever return to his house without visiting Fatimah. It was very difficult for the Prophet, as he says, that I cannot go to sleep until I kiss Fatimah. I have to kiss Fatimah and then I go to sleep. So this is in relation to the Prophet that talks about Hazrat. The man whose words are considered to be hujjat, through whom the Quran was sent. And there are other riwayat as well, which we pointed out, and the famous riwayat that we all are aware of, that Fatimah is part of me, and I am part of Fatimah. Whosoever hurts Fatimah, he will hurt me. And whosoever hurts me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there will be azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon them. It happened so that once a person came to the Prophet to ask for something, and here this man was sent to a house with an introduction by the Prophet, saying that I have nothing at the moment, but I will send you to a place, because I will get the similar sawab. If I cannot give, I will inform you of a house that will give. A house which is the house which loves the Prophet and loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not only that, Allah also loves this house and the household, and the Prophet also loves this household and the house. And that house is also the house of Fatimah salamu alayhi. Recite another salawat. Now in relation to Amirul Mu'mineen, how do we find? We say that Amirul Mu'mineen was Katib of Wahi for the Prophet, but he was Katib of Wahi for Fatimah as well. Because Fatimah calls Amirul Mu'mineen and says that I will dictate to you of each and every incident that is supposed to take place till the day of judgment in the Sahifa Fatimah. That is one of the reasons that she is called Muhadditha. Muhadditha means where angels come to her. Muhaddith means that a person who gives hadith, and a hadith that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So she is Muhadditha, meaning that angels used to descend upon her and inform her about the events. Not only that, not angels, but the archangel, Jibreel. And here in relation to, we mentioned last time, the tahrir or a comment by Imam Khomeini was that she wasn't, it was not like angels going to the house of Fatimah, but she was on a level where she called Jibreel. She was on that level, because Ulul Azm are on that level that they call the Malak.